Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Memo about the PENDREAM TV's measures and any day they can share and I'll subscribe to channel. No click bell and society the news to one out so I can in tell. Kwasi Pratt and I didn't send me a better draw the Famba Bawumia no chima. They say a question Bawumia episode tress economy I say on can essence and no vice president and then you're president. Nanuna Kwasi Pratt say. Yenyina ye okrom ha na before abanwe beba so no akofo ado ejina public emeti ase so no de lawyer nti anything economy no the economic risk ma Omadu Bawumia na aba enu nti no ba ye omo elections oba ye no head of economic management team na den na de mo person mo kire MPP for person mo kire say Bawumia was vice nti no ni any power to operate and say he was sidelined. They don't know say even if he was sidelined, I didn't know one reason say omo yines in chomon person be operate. Then yan ka say oh no kure Bawumia MPP for amano kwa ma na nyisu ni nim dia o anye dwo na mo watena ho ahwe ho han ani aban we aye economy pasa na afide mo person mo kire say o vice nti he wasn't in charge of the economic mess. Men kasa bebre video no amepese e be ko na yakotie de Kwasi Pratt.
You do know that the sitting president is somebody that I've known for some time. In fact, I think that I can risk calling him my friend. And I don't like what is being done to him at all. By his own party people. By people around his own vice president and so on. When anything goes wrong, Bawumia then becomes an assistant headmistress. He becomes an aplanque. Then he emphasizes the fact that he's a vice president and not the president. When something goes right, he's the first to claim it. Why are you doing this to Nana Akufo-Addo? What has Nana Akufo-Addo done to you people? This man has led your party and government for 8 years and is about to retire. And all of a sudden, we are all running away from him like a plague. I pity him. I wonder what will happen to him when he's left the presidency. Because even when he's sitting on the seat as president, look at what his people are doing to him. It's most unfortunate, and to a very large extent, I think it is irresponsible to heap all the blame on Nana Akufo-Addo for everybody else to take cover. Now listen to me, my brother. Let's take the aplanque example. Okay. You are an aplanque on a trotro bus, which is going to Nsawam. Okay? When the bus gets to Caprice Junction, the driver gets down and takes a bottle of appetition. And the driver comes staggering into the car. Of course, if you're a good aplanque, you should know that the possibility of all of you on the bus dying before you get to Nsawam is very high. If this aplanque sits on the bus, does not complain, does not do anything about the circumstances, and the car crashes at Ufanko Junction, what kind of aplanque is that? Would you give your car to that aplanque to drive? So this aplanque business, drop it. Let us assume that what is being said about Vice President Bawumia is true. That he was only a vice president, he was not in the driving seat. As Benton says, he was sidelined. Let us assume that it is true. Okay. Now, let us also take into account the fact that if everything went well, he would not be running away from some of the policies and actions that they have taken. He would have claimed credit, you understand? It is only because some things did not go well that he's docking, you understand? Now, so, and as Benton himself says that, look, the Akufo-Addo administration, the Mahama administration, all failed. That is his assessment. Okay. Now, if you have a vice president for 7 years who has been sidelined and things are happening recklessly, okay, and things are not going well and so on, and he continues to sit down as vice president, does not resign, does not protest, and so on, would you entrust the destiny of the country into the hands of a vice president who simply doesn't care when things are going wrong? This is just common sense and logic. And you do know that I'm not interested in insulting anybody.
Exactly.
But if you have a vice president for 7 years, he has been sidelined. He comes up with policies which are to be implemented by ministers. The ministers don't do it. What he says, nobody takes, and so on. And he comfortably sits there for 7 years, waiting for 8 years to come, so that we can get rid of his president, for him to become president. Is that a good vice president? Tell me. Is that a good vice president that he sat down in all of this? He was sidelined. He gave directions which were ignored and so on for 7 years, in fact, more than 7 years. And then in the end, he turns around and says, yes, I knew things were bad. I could have done something about it. I was sidelined, and I stayed there quietly. I refused to resign. Make me the president, and I'll do wonders. Incredible. Put that aside too, my brother. Put that aside. And listen, very, very carefully. Look, and my brother Titus, I can't blame him. In fact, I couldn't have expected something else from him. This claim that...
My name is Titus Glover.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my brother Titus Glover. My very good brother. He's been my friend for many years, you understand. But listen, he says that when Bawumia's name is mentioned, people panic. Is that true? I've checked all the posters, and I'm sure you have checked. As for him, I cannot assume that he has checked if he thinks that everybody is afraid of Bawumia. He obviously hasn't checked. You understand? But check all the posters, including those who predicted victory for the new patriotic party in the 2020 elections. Foreign and local. Check. The highest rating Bawumia has gotten from polling is around 38% of total votes. If I lie, tell me. The highest. Some place him as low as 28%.
Which election are you talking about?
The 2024 elections. If you like, Google Global Info Analytics, which I think is the most credible from my own study of their work, so I think it's the most credible. Google it right now and see the ratings. So how come? Yeah, how come that in the face of these ratings, anybody will panic at the mention of Bawumia? I can't understand. Maybe I'm daft, but I can't understand it. There's no panic. In fact, I will tell you from conversations that I'm having with people around the political circles and inside the political circles, I can tell you for sure that opponents of Bawumia are so very happy that he is the one who was elected as your flag bearer. If somebody else had been elected, I'm sure that there would have been some panic, reasonable panic and so on. By him, they are so very happy that it is him that they are going to contest with. Okay. Now, for those who want to understand the status of His Excellency, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, I do not refer them to the NDC, I do not refer them to newspapers and so on. I refer them to his own web page. Master, open his web page. See how he has described himself on his own web page. If you read his web page, he clearly claims that he is in charge of the management of the economy. He's in charge of policy formulation as far as the economy is concerned. He's in charge of the management of the economy. He claims to be in the driving seat of national policy formulation and implementation. Go to his webpage. It's there. Now, how can you describe yourself in those terms on your own webpage turn around and now look into her face and say, I was only an apprentice. I was not the headmistress. I was the assistant headmistress. And so, how can you do that? Which is true. What is on your web page, or what you are telling us, through other means and so on. So, look, we should be clear in our minds. In fact, it is not for us even to be clear in our minds. Dr. Bawumia should be clear in his mind whether he's an apprentice or the driver. He cannot be the driver in the morning, an apprentice in the afternoon, and in the evening, a passenger. He has to define for himself what he is. And from all the statements that have been made by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo at least was honest in many respects. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo looked us in the face, the Ghanaian people in the face, and said, look, I'm a lawyer. I think that I know the law. I've been involved in this country's politics for some time and so on. But I need special skills to manage the economy. And from inference, he was telling us that he didn't have the skills to manage the economy. And so it is for this reason that I have chosen His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia as my vice president. His sole responsibility is to manage the economy. His sole responsibility is to move us forward. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said these things publicly. He didn't hide them. So clearly, his only mandate was the management of the national economy. And he told us that he was in charge. In many ways, he told us that he was in charge. Why are they claiming now, and he claiming now that he's not in charge? What has happened? Did the car hit a ditch at Ofankor Junction? The car he's driving, did it hit a ditch at Ofankor Junction? What is happening? My brother, look, we may not hold doctorates in economics. We may not be vice president and vice presidential candidates elect and so on. But master, all of us have some gumption. At least we can understand simple English. We all have some gumption, we can understand simple English. Let nobody play with us. Because we will not allow that to happen. Nobody can play with us. You understand?